Hi everybody, and welcome back to my latest blog post. Now, no exercises or treatment methods for you today. What I thought to do is have a bit of a chat and kind of take you inside my crazy head and let you understand some of the things I'm thinking about and I'm looking for when I'm going through running-based assessments. Alright, I recently posted a blog on Facebook advertising the running assessments on a clinic day, and I said this is probably the most comprehensive running assessment in the city, and I absolutely stand by that 100%. Alright, I know that may sound a little bit arrogant, but I'll tell you why. And the reason I think that is just because of the number of factors and the number of things and the way I look at things. It's different and nobody else does it quite like that. Alright, so the first thing, nothing that I tell you is my opinion. Alright, everything I give you is backed up by mountains and mountains of science. Alright, I've learned from some of the best functional movement practitioners and rehab therapists, osteopaths, physiotherapists, not only in the UK, but possibly the world. Okay? And from our experience, we look and we analyse everything in a way. Is it related to science? Does it have a lot of scientific backing? If it doesn't, tend not to spend much time on it. Alright? So you have mountains of science, and I'm happy to share that with you. Okay? Everything I do is completely transparent. I'm not going to hide anything. If you want to see some of the science that backs up what I say, you can have it. I'll find it for you. Alright? I've actually got a lot on my laptop that you can have quite readily. As well as that, all the science is backed up by things called principles. Alright? Now these principles, they're kind of fundamental laws of physics and nature that kind of dictate how we move. And I'm not talking about how we move, and I'm sat on my kind of treatment table at the moment. Alright? Now I'm not talking about how we move on there. I'm talking about how we function when we stood up, we're running around, we're squatting, we're jumping, we're doing whatever. But let's focus on running for today. Okay, so these principles, so we've got stuff like gravity. How does gravity have an effect on our joints? How we move in all three planes of motion. So running is just forward and backwards, but I know that we move rotationally and in the frontal side to side plane when we run. Okay, so I look at how gravity affects that movement pattern. I look at stuff like ground reaction force and momentum, how gravity and momentum produce force when our foot hits the ground when we run. So we have gravity and momentum producing force from the top, we have the ground reaction force producing force from the bottom. Okay, and they're like equal opposite reactions. And our body actually reacts to those forces. Okay, so our muscles and our bones and our joint don't really switch on to like a second before impact. So when we're in the flight phase, we have a kind of loading that's already taken place before to carry our foot through. So there's not much muscle action in the flight phase, it's literally just before things hit the floor in a predictive way. Alright, so that's our nervous system anticipating what's about to happen and getting everything ready for that to happen effectively. Alright, so there's other principles as well. So other principles like load to explode. When we're upright and we're moving around, our bodies have to go through a stage of lengthening and stretching before they can produce force. Okay, running is one of the most explosive activities in the world. Okay, even at a low speed over long distances, every time your foot hits the ground, depending on what research you read, somewhere around 1.8 to 4 times your body mass is hitting the floor doing every step. Hundreds of thousands of steps in a marathon, tons and tons of force going through your body. And it's your body's ability to control that loading, how your muscles lengthen and react to produce force. Okay, so doing things like concentric movements, like the clam or crunches or things like that, they're not going to have that much carryover into your running. Alright? What we look at when we assess is, A, how does your body and how does your various muscles, bones and joints allow your muscles to lengthen to produce force optimally. Okay, so when I'm assessing, that's pretty much what I'm looking for, is how are these things, as well as your mental state, I'll talk about that in a sec, enabling your body to be as efficient as possible during the task of running. All right. So we know that one of the principles as well is we know that the mental affects physical. Okay. So that's pretty much fact. And the reason being, in a rehab perspective, or one of the reasons, there's too many to talk about in this, is the way we hold on to pain. Okay, now our tissues probably take around, 20 weeks to heal, maximum, after a relatively bad injury. Okay, but our minds and our nervous system hang on to those memories and the associated movements from that pain for much, much longer. So I'm working with a client at the moment who's got kind of right hip pain, all right, runner's knee, and it all came from what was diagnosed as a hip bursitis, runner's knee, a couple of other things. I watched her run, and I saw that right hip would not do anything. The left hip moved quite well, the right hip was very rigid, she comes down very hard on the right side. Now, I was wondering, is this a mental thing or is it a physical thing? Turns out it was a combination of both. So all I tried first was get her to think about something else when she runs. Is that hip moving any better? And guess what? It moved quite a bit better. Alright, so it loaded in the frontal plane and we were able to kind of see a load in the transverse plane as well. We were basically able to see the hip absorb impact when the foot hit the floor compared to when she was very conscious about how she ran. Bam, very stiff, very rigid. Okay, so we know that our ability to help you turn those pain memories off and the associated movements that come with those pain memories is huge, massively important in order to help you run better, more efficiently, be pain-free, and get those run times down, because that's what we hear, isn't it? So the other thing is we know that from that, everything in our body is interlinked, all right? And just because you feel in pain somewhere doesn't mean that's an area I'm going to even look at, all right? I'll have a little play about with it, see if there's anything immediate, but chances are with knee pain for definite. If you're getting knee pain, there is absolutely nothing wrong with your knee, all right? There is something going on, either in the foot, the hip, the shoulder, or your thoracic spine that's stopping things happening and the knee's just taking the brunt, okay? So we have these bully zones, our foot, our hip, our thoracic spine. They're in areas that, although they do get injured from time to time, lots more people with like knee pain, shin pain, calf pain, shoulder pain, elbow pain than you will with like an upper back, a hip, or a foot injury. And that's because these areas are kind of areas that don't often get injured themselves, but they kind of shut down in movement. They don't move the way they should. And that transfers lots of forces that the body don't like to other areas. So stuff like lower back pain and knee pain, like I said, some shoulder pain and elbow pain, you probably can guarantee that what's causing the pain there is not the joint's fault. So if I'm getting right shoulder pain, probably not my right shoulder. I'd have a look at your hips, I'd have a look at your thoracic spine, even your feet. Alright, so everything in your body is interlinked. And just because you feel in pain somewhere, doesn't mean that's where the problem is. So I don't really care about diagnosis. Alright, I don't care what your pain's called, it's irrelevant. All I care about, all I give a damn about is finding why it's there in the first place and how we're going to fix it. Alright, so you can give whatever name to you want. For me, it's pain. Alright, and if it's Freiberg's disease, if it's patellofemoral syndrome, runner's knee, who gives a crap? Alright, it's pain. And all I care about is finding out the root cause of the problem, why that area is taking the brunt of impact and momentum and gravity when you're running, and what am I going to do to make it better? That is all I care about. The other thing is, when I'm sat on my treatment table, like I mentioned, this is probably the least used piece of kit I have in my rehab facility. Alright, got lots of other things, dumbbells, medicine bottles, everything. Alright, but I don't use the treatment table that much. Reason being, if you can walk in, we're doing things upright. Everything that we do upright and in functional movement in 3 dimensions will have a way more carryover into your running than anything you do on a treatment table. Alright? Anything you do on a treatment table means you're basically going to be moving your muscles like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilding will not help you run. It'll probably make you worse. Alright? So I assess you for the function of running. which means we are upright, we are looking at gravity, ground reaction forces, how you lunge, how you step, how you walk, how you run, how you squat, things that have a direct carryover into running, not things like the climb, crunches, planks. Very, very little input into how you run and may in fact make it worse. Okay, so we look at the specifics of running and how fundamental laws of physics interact in your movement and how efficient you are when you run, and how does that relate to the pain and the injury that you're currently experiencing. Now we talked a little bit about the mental aspect and the pain memories, but also stuff like stress. What's your home life like? What's your job like? Are you constantly in a state of stress? We know that stress has a direct correlation to pain. People who are stressed are usually in pain. And a lot of the times, you know the drill, upper back and shoulders, neck, lower back. Okay, you carry the pain there because you're walking around tight. So doing things to switch your mind off to that is essential. Alright, allowing you to move with relaxed, pain-free motion is critical. Okay, so I try and get into your head a little bit. And I get into your head in a good way to help your body move in an efficient way that's going to help you run. Okay, and the other thing I look at as well is your nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, and I ain't going to tell you about how to load for races and calorie intake and all that, alright? Because that's something you can see someone else about. But what I will look at is what your diet is like in relation to your pain. So are you eating a diet that's causing your bones, your joints, your muscles to be in a state of inflammation? Alright, so stuff like processed carbohydrates, white pasta, bleached carbs, things like that, trans fats, they're very inflammatory, and there's a shed load of science out there that says not only are they inflammatory in our muscles, they're inflammatory in our joints, ligaments, tendons, and also in our blood vessels as well. So I kind of look at nutrition from that. So just to recap, every single thing I tell you has a mountain of science behind it. If it doesn't, I don't say it. Everything is further backed up by these principles of human movement. Okay? How does gravity, ground reaction, momentum, the load to explode, movement in 3 dimensions, how does that influence how you run, and how does it relate to your pain symptoms? Everything in the body is interconnected. Okay? I do not set you on a treatment table where I'm isolating joints, muscles, or bones. I analyse you as a whole being for the function of running and nothing else. Alright? I also look at how does your mind affect your body. Stuff like pain memories, stress, your psychological well-being, and your emotions. And I also look at your nutrition. Okay? Are you getting the right stuff into your body to A, help you fight inflammation and recover and repair after a run? So I hope that's kind of answered the queries and questions you might have regarding the running assessment. And yeah, I hope to see you kind of at my facility really soon, so I can help you become pain and injury free and get you running faster and stronger than ever. So thanks again for watching. I know it was a bit of a long video, but I look forward to seeing you soon.